Hi, and welcome to our weekly book talk. My name is Lloyd Grades. I'm the page and volunteer supervisor here at the Grandview Heights Library. I'm normally upstairs working in our fiction or nonfiction section, but I have worked in what we affectionately refer to as our basement area, which is some of the coolest books in the building, I must say. And actually, that's what I'm going to talk to you, books from that area I'm going to talk to you about today. I've got two stacks with me as always, one stack from the 4th through 6th grade selection, and then the second stack for the 7th through 12th grade selection. We do these talks, or these book reviews I should say, every week here at 2 p.m. So I hope you join in next week. All right, let's get started with this week's books. So I'm going to do the 4th through 6th grade group first. All right, and I'm starting with a nonfiction book, and this book is called Finish the Fight, Brave and Revolutionary Women Who Fought for the Right to Vote. And this is all about 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote here in the United States. This book is by Veronica Chambers and the New York Times staff, so it's very well researched, we'll say that. It focuses on the women leaders from what started the suffrage movement. Some leaders that definitely focus on Miriam Church Terrell, Mabel Pinghua Lee, I hope I'm saying that correctly, and others. So the nice part I liked about this, I'm a big proponent of women's rights. The thing, like I was saying, that I love most about this book is not only did it focus on all the women, especially the predominant leaders who were involved in getting the 19th Amendment passed, but it especially focuses on the women of color who were part of that movement and how being a minority at that time or being from a particular socioeconomic class really did make a difference in the struggles that they had to go through in order to get the amendment passed. The nice thing I really like about this is at the end of the book, it gives a timeline of what you've read and points out all the major milestones that led to this. And the timeline even goes all the way up to 2020, which is really neat. And the nice thing is they give statistics at the end of the book about how things were when the suffrage movement started and what they are today in 2020. And some of these statistics actually blew my mind. I will give you one, which I thought was really cool, is Supreme Court justices. There were 0, now there are 4. So in 1981, Sandra Day O'Connor was the first woman to serve on the nation's highest court. But as of the writing and publishing of this book, 3 of the 9 justices are now women. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Ellen Kagan, and Sonia Sotomayor. And so right there, that just shows in some ways how far women's rights have come, but yet also shows how far we still have to go. So, excellent choice. And that was our nonfiction pick for this. Our next one, once again, one of my favorite authors from this age group is Guts. It is done by Ryan Tellemeier, and she's also known for her books Ghosts, Drama, Smile, and actually this book right here is a prequel to Smile, because where it ends, you can tell she's setting up for the next stage, because some of these books of hers are semi-autobiographical, and you can tell it's all setting up for the events that happen in Smile, which we've previously reviewed. But this is for, once again, 4th through 6th grade. The really neat thing about this book is, once again, our main character, named after the author, is she's starting to have, she starts feeling sick. And then even though she goes to the doctor and the doctor says everything's okay, she still begins to have, feel sick, especially stomach issues. And what she later discovers is that she just really has a sensitive stomach. And, she has to watch what she eats and all that. But it also plays into, at this time, she begins to go through puberty, and she discovers, she has panic attacks and anxiety and, things at this point in your life as you're leaving elementary, beginning to enter junior high, you know, everything's changing with your peers, things are changing with you, your interests, so on and so forth. And it's neat and interesting how she explains how she discovers that these panic attacks, you know, affect her body, and then that in turn affects her stomach, and that's why she was feeling so ill all the time, and yet doctors couldn't find anything wrong with her, you know, physiologically. So it was she had to learn that I have to have a nice balance of mental health as well as physical health. And of course we get all the humor and drama from, you know, going into junior high, which I just love. And the artwork's great. So this one is probably my favorite. As you guys know, if you've been watching these, I'm a big comic book person. Marvel Comics is how I actually got into comics. So I'm very much into the Marvel Universe. This book is Shuri, a Black Panther novel. It's actually the first in a series. They've come out with a sequel. This is done by Nick Stone. Here's something interesting I discovered about Nick Stone. When I saw Nick Stone, I thought, oh man, there's a guy writing, you know, about a woman of color. And when I got to the book and I read the author jacket, I like to save that for last sometimes, I discovered that Nick Stone is a woman of color actually, and she's from the Atlanta area, and I'm from the Atlanta area. So all of a sudden, even though this is a really great book, I really enjoy it, it just made it that much cooler for me because and showed why I enjoyed it so much, because I had a personal connection to it and didn't know it until I was finished. But anyway, in this book, Shuri, who is the younger sister of T'Challa, most commonly known as the Black Panther, discovered, you know, it's a challenge day where anyone can challenge the king for the right to rule Wakanda. And of course, the Black Panther takes the heart-shaped herb, if you're familiar with the Black Panther mythos, to give him his heightened senses and keep him at his mental and physical peak. Well, she discovers that there's something going on in the plant life in Wakanda that is specifically affecting the heart-shaped herb plants and killing them off. And anyone who takes the serum made from that later has ill effects. I want to tell you about it, but don't want to give too much away. So part of her mission, because she's gifted in the sciences, is to find out what is going on. Why, you know, is it a fungus? Is there an evil supervillain trying to cut off the strength of Wakanda and Black Panther and things like that? And and she has to leave Wakanda, and she has rarely ever left the country of Wakanda. In fact, she rarely even leaves the capital city since she's the princess. And so not only is it this coming of age and, you know, going into the new world adventure for her, but it's really refreshing to find such a well-written and really fascinating adventure within the Marvel Universe. And I've always said this, I think Marvel has some of the best female characters, and I really like it when we have a supporting character who gets to shine. They become the main character. So I just really love this, and Shuri is actually, out of all the female characters in Wakanda, and there are quite a few, she is my favorite. So it really does show the younger sibling, the princess, can actually shine in her own light as an equal to her older brother, who's also the king. So definitely check it out, especially if you're a fan of the comics or the movies. So last book for our 4th through 6th grade is the one and only Ivan. And Ivan is a silverback gorilla who hangs out at, and I had to write some of this down, so excuse me, at the Big Top Mall. And at the Big Top Mall, it's a mall just like any other mall, but it has an arcade there, and right near the arcade it kind of has a circus area. And Ivan has been there, according to his captivity, he has been there for 9,855 days, which is equivalent to about 27 years. And anyway, he's there. There's a stray dog who's a friend. He's also there with another elephant, and they were all, and Ivan doesn't remember much before coming to the mall, but his friend the elephant comes in, and Stella is her name. And Stella, of course, because elephants have a long memory, she remembers a time when, you know, she was in the jungle, and then when she was with the circus and she got injured, and that's why she, you know, ends up here at this kind of circus type mall. And anyway, from her injury, she falls ill and she dies. But before she dies, a baby elephant um, gets bought by the owner and comes in. And the baby's elephant's name is Ruby. You can see her right there on the cover. And I'm sorry, this is written by Catherine Applegate. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. I was just excited about this book. So anyway, Stella's last request to Ivan is take care of Ruby and make sure she's free. And Ivan thinks life is great, but then the owner begins to train Ruby to do tricks and, you know, make her a new attraction. And he's kind of abusive toward her. And Ivan begins to see, you know, maybe Stella was right. Maybe this is not the best life or best environment, not only for Ruby, but also for myself and other animals. And, you know, maybe we should go back to the jungle or to a place like a zoo or a preservation. And anyway, with the help of some of the supporting staff, the custodian and his daughter who worked there, Ivan gets his hands on some paints. And from there, the story really begins to take off. So I don't want to give the ending away. But as you can see, this is an award winner. It's excellent. It's also a movie on Disney+. Of course, the book is always better than the movie. So I encourage you to do both. Go watch the movie, read the book. I read the book first. I suggest doing it in that order. So that wraps it up for our 4th through 6th grade group. For our 7th through 12th grade group, we'll start off with, once again, one of my bias. As I told you guys, I'm a big comic book fan. I've done several of these DC icons in our reviews. This is Superman Dawnbreaker, written by Matt De La Pinda. Excuse me. And once again, these are all about the iconic heroes or villains, like we did with Catwoman. Well, she's more anti-hero. But in this case, the icon of icons, Superman. But once again, it's not when they're fully in there, you know, known to the public. This is all about, once again, a coming of age. This story takes place in Smallville, which is Superman's hometown. He hasn't even adopted the identity of Superman yet. He's still Clark Kent, learning how to use his powers. And at this point, he's struggling because he wants to use his powers to make the world a better place, Smallville, and the world greater. And, you know, his heroics are kind of bursting at the seams, but once again, his parents are like, you've got to rein it in, you've got to keep a secret identity, not only to protect yourself, but to protect the ones you love. And in small, so it's getting harder for him to hold back. But anyway, he comes across a woman, Gloria Alvarez, and he begins to learn that Latinos, specifically Mexican Americans, and also undocumented workers are beginning to vanish in Smallville. Like they're around and then they just disappear. So with the help of his best friend Lana Lang, they investigate this mystery. And in this, you know, Clark gets a better idea of the world around him and the world at large, because if you can't help your hometown, how can you help the world at large? It's kind of one of the bigger things tackled in this book. Once again, I really enjoyed it. It's the 4th in the DC Icon series, but once again, you do not have to read these in any order. Each one is a standalone. So you could pick this one up first and then go read the others that we've already reviewed. Our next one is Stranger Than Fan Fiction, written by Chris Clofer, and a lot of people probably recognize him if you look at the author right there. He starred in the hit TV series Glee. He's written a number of best-selling teen novels. Some of these have been reviewed here. This is probably one of my favorites that he's written, only because it's a group of, it focuses on 5 people. The 4 of them are all seniors in high schools and really good friends. The 5th is actually a teen star in a hit show. And it really does show the struggles. Each of these characters represents kind of a struggle I think every person goes through throughout junior high and high school and as they get ready to go to college. The main thing of the story is the 4 friends write a fan letter to the TV star saying, hey, can we come out and visit you? You know, they're just like, let's just do it. The worst he's going to say is no. And surprisingly, the TV star, going through struggles of his own, says yes. So then it becomes this road trip for the 4 friends all the way out to California. And of course, they reach self-discoveries and discoveries with each other about who they are, where they are in life, where they want to go, and what they want to do. And the thing is, the same thing kind of happens for the celebrity in that it just shows, you know, he's struggling with his celebrity status and really just wants to be an ordinary person. So, excellent, excellent pick. I was very surprised by it. Our nonfiction pick for the 7th through 12th grade group is Our Stories, Our Voices. So this is right there, and then it's 21 YA authors get real about injustice, empowerment, and growing up female in America. I should emphasize that part. It's edited by Amy Reed. It's written, these are all essays. Some of them are 6 pages long, others are, 20 pages long or longer. But it's all written by YA authors, all female authors. This book probably opened my mind the most in the selection we're doing today. I especially loved the editor's essay. Once again, it deals with a number of things, and some of it, one of the authors, it's about her journey to America, or growing up in America, and then another one is growing up in America as, the daughter of immigrants. This also deals with girls, not only dealing with the dating scene, when to say yes, when to say no, even who to accept as a friend, just in social circles, but also, girls who are questioning, am I gay, am I transgender, how do I identify? And it's just really well written. All the essays I read, I really enjoyed. Like I said, the editor's one kind of struck with me just from friends of mine. And so I highly recommend this, even to parents, in things to talk about with your kids. But I think the kids should read it, and it's great, and you'll love it. So last but not least, and this one I'm a little biased on, is The Adventure Zone, Here Be Gerblins. And it's written by a team, the McElroy boys. They're all brothers. Clint, Griffin, Justin, and Travis. And then it's illustrated by Carrie Peischus. I can't really pronounce the last name. But anyway, I run the Dungeons and Dragons program here at our library that meets for the junior high and high schoolers, that meets every 3rd week. And when I read this is actually, and I actually have it here in my office right here. It's the starter set for 5th edition. And what they did was they played the starter set, and they changed the names, and added a little flair of their own to make it their own adventure. They customized it and then made it into a graphic novel. And as I was reading this, I was like, this seems very familiar. Then when I got to the halfway through, I'm like, I know what this is. But at the same time, I loved it. The outcome of this was completely different from when I played the starter set with my friends. Also, when I played it here with the people who participate in the program at the library. And that's one of the wonderful things about the game is everybody could play the same adventure, and yet because of the choices you make as a player, the outcome and the events, the sequence of events can be completely different. So there are just many different ways to play the same adventure. The thing I loved about this too is there's a lot of humor injected into this, and one of the funniest things was the DM actually pops up. So even though as you're reading it, and it's a great fantasy adventure, every now and then you'll just see the DM. I should have marked the page here, but he will just pop up and talk to the characters, and it's just, yeah, there we go. There's one. He'll just talk to the characters, and I just thought that was hilarious because I've had to do that as a DM and also as a player. So, and this is the first book in a series, so if you like this, definitely check out the other ones. All right. Well, that kind of wraps it up for this week. I thank you guys for watching as always. Please tune in every week at this time for one of our other book reviews. They're here weekly. So, and please come on in. We're expanding our hours soon, so, we're back to things. You can check them out online or come into the building to get them. Thanks so much for watching, guys.